She sat in her wheelchair, dressed in a wedding gown that shimmered under the soft glow of the chandeliers. But the smile she forced hid a storm of heartbreak. Moments ago, the man she loved, the one she thought would stand by her forever, had walked out of the church, leaving her alone at the altar. The guests whispered, phones came out, and the once beautiful ceremony turned into a public humiliation. And then, a man she barely knew, a single dad who had come only to deliver flowers, stepped forward and did something that no one in that room would ever forget. Hey everyone, welcome to where we share real, powerful stories that remind you that kindness can change lives. If you believe the world needs more compassion, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below about what kindness means to you. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. Now, let's begin this unforgettable story. Emma Reynolds was 32, beautiful, and the CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech companies in New York. She had everything people dreamed of: success, wealth, and respect. But 3 years ago, a car accident changed her life forever. She survived, but her legs didn't. From that day on, she lived her life in a wheelchair. At first, Emma was devastated. She felt broken. The world seemed to look at her differently, not as the confident leader she once was, but as someone fragile and incomplete. Yet over time, she rebuilt herself. She returned to her company, inspired her employees, and proved that her mind and heart were stronger than ever. That's when she met Jason. He was charming, confident, and made her laugh again. After years of loneliness, Emma felt she had finally found love. Jason promised her a future, one where she'd never feel less than whole. Their relationship blossomed, and soon, he proposed. The world cheered for her. Social media called it a fairy tale comeback. But what they didn't know was that Jason's love wasn't as pure as it seemed. He loved the image, the fame that came with dating a successful CEO. But deep down, he wasn't ready to stand beside a woman who lived life from a wheelchair. Still, Emma believed in him. She believed love could overcome fear. On her wedding day, she felt nervous but happy. The church was packed, the air filled with music and the smell of fresh roses. Everyone stood as she was wheeled down the aisle, her gown trailing like a river of white silk. Her heart beat fast when she saw Jason at the altar until she noticed the coldness in his eyes. Halfway through the ceremony, when the pastor said, "Do you take this woman?" Jason hesitated. The silence stretched. Then, in front of everyone, he whispered, "I can't do this," dropped the ring, and walked away. The gasps, the stares, the pity, all of it crashed into Emma at once. Tears burned her eyes. She wanted to disappear. Outside the church, a man named Ethan Cole was standing by his delivery van, holding a bouquet of white lilies meant for the bride. Ethan was 38, a single dad raising his 9-year-old daughter, Lily. Life hadn't been kind to him, his wife passed away 5 years ago, and he worked multiple jobs just to keep food on the table. He had no idea who the bride was, or what had just happened inside. But when a crowd began whispering and filming on their phones, he saw Emma, heartbroken, trembling, and trying to will herself away from the scene. Something in him couldn't just stand there. Ethan walked up slowly, holding the flowers. "Ma'am, I think these were meant for you," he said softly. Emma looked up, her mascara streaked down her cheeks. "Thank you," she whispered, barely holding it together. He smiled gently. "For what it's worth, anyone who'd walk away from you like that just made the biggest mistake of his life." Those words broke something inside her, but not in a painful way. They cracked open the walls she'd built around her heart. A week later, Emma received a note along with another bouquet, same white lilies. It read, "From the delivery guy who thinks you deserved a better ending." She smiled for the first time in days. On impulse, she called the florist to thank him, and they connected her to Ethan. They talked for a while. What started as a brief thank you call turned into an hour-long conversation about life, loss, and hope. Over the next few weeks, they kept talking, sometimes over coffee, sometimes over the phone late at night. Emma found comfort in his honesty. Ethan didn't treat her like someone to pity. He treated her like a person. He told her about Lily, his daughter who dreamed of becoming an artist. Emma offered to help her get into a summer art program sponsored by her company. Ethan hesitated, not wanting charity, but Emma insisted. It's not charity, she said. It's kindness. And kindness is meant to be shared. When Ethan and Lily visited Emma's office to thank her, something magical happened. Lily, small and full of light, handed Emma a drawing. It showed a princess in a wheelchair wearing a crown, surrounded by flowers. "That's you," Lily said shyly. "Because you're strong like a queen." Emma's eyes filled with tears. In that moment, she realized that kindness doesn't just heal, it connects people in the most unexpected ways. From then on, Emma invited Ethan and Lily into her life. They'd have dinners together, watch movies, and share laughter that felt like sunlight after a storm. But the world still whispered. People said cruel things online. Some called Ethan an opportunist for being with a rich woman. Others mocked Emma for settling for a delivery guy. Yet none of it mattered. Because what they had was real. One snowy evening, Emma was hosting a company event, a charity gala supporting spinal injury research. As she gave her speech, thanking donors and partners, she noticed Ethan and Lily in the crowd, cheering her on. Her voice trembled as she said, "I used to think my wheelchair defined what I lost. But now I see, it reminds me of what I still have, the strength to rise, the heart to love, and the people who stand by me." The audience erupted in applause. After the event, Ethan walked up to her, his hands shaking. "You've changed my life, Emma. But more than that, you've shown my daughter what real strength looks like." Emma smiled. "And you showed me what real kindness looks like." Then, in front of everyone, Ethan knelt, not with a diamond ring, but with a single white lily. "Emma Reynolds," he said softly, "you don't need someone to complete you. But if you'd let me, I'd love to roll through life with you." The room went silent. Emma covered her mouth, tears flowing freely. "Yes," she whispered. 1,000 times, yes. Lily cheered and hugged them both. Cameras flashed. But this time, it wasn't for gossip, it was for a love story born from kindness. Months later, their wedding took place in a small garden, surrounded by close friends and family. No media, no extravagance, just warmth, laughter, and love. Emma wore a simple gown, and Lily sprinkled flower petals in front of her wheelchair. When the pastor asked, "Do you take this man?" Emma grinned. "I already did the moment he gave me those white lilies." Ethan laughed, his eyes glistening. "And I take you, because you taught me that love doesn't look perfect, it looks kind." The crowd cheered as they kissed. Today, Emma and Ethan run a foundation together, helping people with disabilities find jobs and rebuild confidence. Lily, now 12, paints murals at hospitals for patients recovering from spinal injuries. And every year, on their anniversary, Ethan brings Emma a bouquet of white lilies, the flowers that started it all. Because sometimes, kindness doesn't just heal, it rewrites the story of your life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to your channel name. Let's fill the world with stories that remind us that compassion still exists, and that sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change everything.